No, we weren't live. Okay, hello everybody. Now we are live for sure on both Facebook and YouTube. We will just wait a little bit to share it everywhere and we will kick off.
We're here with Jarvis, our friendly physical form robot.
I guess we will need you to introduce him a little bit more
Oh, I
during this
will.
webinar. Oh yeah, I can see him now. All right, I think that we are shared where we belong. So let's get it started. I want to welcome all of you. That's great to have you, over 50 people on the live on YouTube and as well as on Facebook. It's Dave with me, founder and CEO of Conversion AI, as well as Jarvis. So welcome, Dave. Great to
Thanks,
have
man.
you.
Yeah, man. Excited to chat and dig in on this and introduce everyone to Jarvis here. Explain how he's not just a toy, but he'll write a bunch of sweet SEO optimized marketing copy for you.
Nice, nice, nice. That was really cool situation with the integration and really slightly over 24 hours between our first call and releasing to production. That was crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty fast integration there, and we've been thinking about it, and I think a lot of our customers were already using Conversion AI and Surfer, and so it already kind of been on our mind. And then yeah, I think you guys made it just really easy to actually pull it off and bring it all in. So yeah, it was a cool integration.
Great cooperation. There was this moment with a huge boom around the topic of AI content writing. Like last week I was asked, like, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 times from random people on in random situations, on calls, on emails, on Facebook Messenger. Do you plan to integrate with an AI writing assistant? Maybe you can consider Conversion AI. They are the best. They are everywhere, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, and then Lucian reached out to you, and then we end up on the call. And 24 hours, actually 28 hours later, we have it done. Well, I'm surprised. That's super cool. But yeah, let's get to the point, because why we meet today. We are here to explain server and data-driven approach to content creation to all of the Conversion AI users, and introduce Jarvis and its superpowers to server people. Then we will quickly show the process of integration, how it works, what you can do with both components, and then we will try to explain that this integration is not here to replace writers but enhance them and like give them the superpowers that Jarvis has. And of course, the last thing we will cover will be the special offer. Anything you have to you have to add, Dave?
No, that's it. And I think, as people have questions and comments, let us know. And, this is your time. We're not here to waste anyone's time. I know you're busy. And so, yeah, as you have questions, you kind of steer where we're going and what we talk about here.
Absolutely. Let's do it relatively quick without diving into the details. We will be building some sort of a training that will be full in depth, like cover everything you need to know. Today we will just give you a brief explanation of what you can do with both tools and how you can benefit from them. And of course, we will clamp it with a Q&A session at the end. Tom is there on the chat gathering all of the questions. So if you have something like not necessarily related to what we are discussing at the moment, just add this question, Q colon, and put the question. Tom will take notes and share it with me later. So let's get started with Conversion AI and Jarvis and what's going on in here. If you could explain in just a few words to people who produce a lot of content for SEO purposes but want to do it faster.
Yeah, so I mean, my team's got a big marketing background. We've been doing marketing and trainings and other Martech SaaS for 7 years now, and we just know the power of high converting copy and high converting content that ranks on Google. And we started building Conversion AI in January, basically using AI to take what's in your mind and turn it into actually high quality, readable marketing copy. And most of our customers come in very skeptical, and you probably should be. Oh, I've used these kinds of tools before. I've used little, copy tools that you kind of plug in a few words and it spits out some formulaic headlines, or I've used some AI and it's kind of just filler text. That stuff's not going to rank on Google anymore. I think that's where most people are. And I would beg you to check it out because things have changed. And I think for the first time ever, there's actually crossed this threshold that it's actually good enough to make great Facebook ads, to make great landing pages, to write great emails, and to write high quality content that will rank, not just filler content that might have ranked in 2007, but like readable, really interesting, engaging content. And so, we launched that in January and it quickly took off. And I think we thought it was going to be good, but I think it's turned out better than we even expected. And one of the directions we've really been pulled is like blog content and SEO content. And my background is more like direct response, ads, funnels, email marketing, like that kind of deal, not so much SEO. And so I wasn't even really thinking we were going to go that direction, but quickly we started getting a bunch of people asking, hey, here's how do you integrate with Surfer? Here's how I use it with Surfer. And basically they were pulling it up and they were using Jarvis to write these great blog posts, but then they were like copying it over into Surfer, adding some keywords, copying it back into Jarvis, running some more, generating some more, adding it back. And it was just like this like painful back and forth process where I'm like, it would be nice to just have these in one. And so, we were kind of thinking, well, how do we let people pull in real-time keywords and just make this more SEO optimized so that it actually will rank? I didn't want to build all that stuff because, that's a pain and we've got a small team and we've already got a hands full creating AI content. So then, it was cool syncing up with you guys and realizing that we could integrate and I didn't have to go build some competitive tool because we probably wouldn't do a very good job of that anyway. But yeah, it's kind of where we've came from to where, Jarvis is truly writing really great content. We've got a bunch of our customers that have written thousands of blog posts and books and people that are ranking on page one a week after they post it, and just really, really exciting stuff.
So we are focusing today most likely on the long form content creator, this tool that will help people do what exactly, how long the content can be created in there, because some of the SEO keywords will require, or at least Google will require, for example, like 3,000 words of copy. And I'm wondering if such long articles may be possible to create with human input, of course.
Yeah, unlimited. It's not one click. It's not like I just type in write an article about this and drag the slider over to 7,000 keywords. Click. It's like it's not that. It's really an assistant. And so as you're writing, Jarvis will give you the next few sentences and will help you recreate, rephrase different ideas, or it's really an interactive process where it's AI assisted, not full AI autopilot.
So it's basically like you produced a little bit of content, and then based on what angle you already have in the article, it can like extend, boost what you already have. Am I correct?
Yep. So it'll kind of read back to, the article you've written so far, and then based on that, you could click compose, and it's going to give you the next several sentences that are going to be in context and the direction that you're looking for. So that, yeah, I mean, I would say it shaves off, 50 to 80% of the time it takes to write content, which is pretty sweet.
Oh, yes. So this way, any copywriter can lean into the editor position, most likely, not just producing the content, but rather checking if it's friendly, if it has this angle, the right angle, and so on. So instead of creating the fluff, he can focus, or she can focus on providing this human input and real value to the content.
Exactly. Yeah, I think people are moving more into that editor role now and not just a writer role. And that now you've got this kind of assistant, kind of maybe this junior copywriter or content writer that can do really well, but still needs a lot of guidance and still needs some fact checking and all of that, you've got them to kind of fill up the page while you're kind of guiding and swapping out words and connecting, ideas and all of that, and so it's definitely a role shift and a mindset shift.
Absolutely. That's something that is like, I think this is exactly what happened to doing SEO with Surfer, for example, as we've been manually gathering the data. That was really painful process, time consuming, not so exciting process of gathering the data, then to make these data driven decisions. And right now, I can only make data driven decisions without gathering the data. And this is something similar. Like, you don't have to produce like huge amount of content to get the article done that reads well, and you can just put the cherry on the top. So that's something similar in my opinion.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, it's remarkable, and this is where things are headed. And a question that we get a lot is, it's like, is this putting writers out of business? Is this putting copywriters out of business? And I'll be honest, yeah, in like 50 years, yes. Like, it's kind of like not a really popular thing to say, but like, yes, I mean, this is going to get better and better. And if, this will get there, but it's not at all there right now. And I think the people that are going to win in all this are those that use this technology to all of a sudden they can, if you're one person, you can all of a sudden write the amount that four people could. And now you have your margins get way better in your business, and you can rank faster. You don't have to pay for a bunch of content writers. You can just do more in house. And so it kind of gives you like superpowers, but it definitely is not replacing anybody right now.
Yeah. Just don't tell your grandchildren to become copywriters, and you are safe. Uh, well, I really enjoyed how agile the process of integration was, and you amazed me once again with developing this feature about keywords. If you could elaborate on it a little bit more, and maybe share screen for a while to
Yeah.
actually show people this long form creator and maybe this keywords tool that
Yeah.
allows them to incorporate. So let me turn the screenshot for you, and boom, your screen is live.
Ah, sweet. So here we are in the Conversion AI platform, and I'll show you how the integration even works. But let's say I want to describe the content I want to create. So here's what I'm kind of telling Jarvis. What is it that we're even writing here? So I might say, write a blog post about gaining building muscle. But I'd already kind of queued up. Okay, write a blog post about building muscle. I could kind of explain it more, which direction I want it to go. Maybe, I know there's a bunch of different schools of thought around how do you build muscle. So I might say, it's about high weight, low reps, or I might say it's about body weight, or I might have it write more about CrossFit or whatever. That'd be kind of like the big one here. Maybe the keyword is, in this case, you'd probably have building muscle, but I'll say the keyword something different, weightlifting. So here's where I'm going to kind of steer it. I can add up, 3 keywords. Basically, what these do is make it a little bit more likely that Jarvis includes that word in the output. Not fully. If I wrote about something really weird here, like PlayStation, it's probably not going to fit that. But that's a good thing. We don't want him trying to stuff irrelevant keywords, into our content here. Okay, so now it's going to come up with a headline for me just based on this right here. It's going to give me some ideas that are, some good headlines for a great blog post. So let's say, 10 strategies for building muscle.
So is this kind of generated title helping with, for example, higher CTR because it has all of those good practices included,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So
Okay,
so it's trained on like actually great titles.
that is awesome. I
Yeah,
want
yeah.
this in Surfer.
Yeah, totally. So, you got that. Now we haven't really used the keyword for this yet. You'll kind of see how the keyword works even better in the long form stuff. But, now I've got generate intro paragraph. So it's taking this, it's taking my keyword and taking my title and generating some good intro paragraphs. So building muscle is hard. It takes hours of weightlifting. Great. So weightlifting has made it in there. And it can take years to see results, but if you're willing to put in the time, effort, and dedication, there are some strategies that will help you build muscle faster than average. And this blog post will give 10 tips for building muscle, everything from nutrition to supplements. I mean, that's amazing. That is like legit great intro paragraph there. You can see this one talks about weight lifters, but it doesn't mention that keyword exactly. But even I think that's interesting to see that it's not just stuffing a keyword in; it's really understanding like what is the keyword weightlifting, and it's kind of using weightlifters, as a kind of a substitute for that. Then again, we all know that weightlifting is a great way to build muscle, but how do you actually start? Building muscle is not easy. It's important to have a plan in place before starting your journey. In this blog post, we will share 10 strategies for building muscle. Okay, so I can, select one of these to start, then open the editor here. And now, say I want to get a blog post outline. So here's where I would take my title. And we've got this, mode called the power mode. It basically got a bunch of different templates that, write Facebook ad headlines or make stuff, improve your content or do video script outlines or SEO product pages or whatever. So you've got all these over here, but I'll just use this blog post outline one. I'm going to put in this one, 10 strategies for building muscle. And I'm going to click generate. And it's going to start to give me a potential outline for this
No
blog post
way.
here. Now, here's where you're going to start to want to work with Surfer, right? Because Surfer is going to give you actually based on more data what the outline should be. And maybe you'd even go into Surfer at this point rather than kind of go to our tool. It's going to give you, some potential ways to kind of start here. Now, what I can do now is open up Surfer inside of here. So instead of having it inside of the Surfer app, as long as you're logged into Surfer, you can just pull this up in here. I've already got one of these content editors built around building muscle here. And so now what this is doing is it's looking at how many words we have written, how many paragraphs and all the different keywords that we want to have in here and trying to build up this content score to 100. Is that what you guys recommend? Over 90, all the way to 100?
Nah, I mean, go green and you are all right.
Okay.
Sometimes people try to overkill, and from my perspective, it is better to write several articles on 70 than a single one for 95. And with your tool, the scaling up is much easier.
Cool. So, okay, cool. So now I'm in here and I've got this, first section, called eat more protein is the first tip. And I put the little hash marks there just to let it know that it's like an H2. We're adding styling here in the next couple days so it works a little bit better with Surfer. But what I might want to do up here, so let's say I want to put in the word muscle mass because that is one that we're supposed to have, muscle mass. I could add this here. What this does is it makes it a little bit more likely that Jarvis writes the word muscle mass in this output here. And he won't definitely do it, but maybe. So I'll write the word the, just kind of get it started, hit compose. And now Jarvis is going to look up here. And then based on all of this, it's going to write a paragraph that it thinks makes sense. The best way to build muscle is to consume plenty of protein. Protein is an essential macronutrient in building muscle. It's the only one that can't be made by the body on its own. It needs to come from food sources like meat, dairy products. So it didn't use the word muscle mass, but we probably knocked off a bunch of other ones in here. And what I could do is then write maybe again some of this stuff may not be totally accurate. I know there's different schools of thought around building muscle, and so you might say, oh no, that's not true. You don't want to eat that many eggs or whatever. It's like great, we'll just go ahead and go tweak that.
Yeah, that's why you are here, right? That's why the person in charge of the tool, not the tool in charge of the person. So definitely you
Totally.
are, guys, you are required. Without you, it won't work.
Totally. So let's do this again. So muscle mass. Let's see if it writes it here. I'll write the word one. So we ask that you kind of edit a little bit in between. One way to, build. Let's say one way to build more. Again, keywords muscle mass. I'm kind of hoping he might put that in here. Okay, you want to be lifting weights challenging for you. It should make up muscle shake and burn, yada yada. Then it starts to give like actual exercise guidelines here.
Nice.
Again,
I like how it's getting yellow and green on the left hand side without effort. This is so
yeah, so you can
cool.
start to see, again, we've got to get to 4,000 words here, and I could just kind of easily, again, keep rolling down the line. When one important tip most people forget is you need to rest and recover. This gives your muscle cells time to assimilate all the work they've done, yada yada, goes on and on. So here's kind of the flow. Now I could also
Mhm.
take this, or let's say I don't love how this is written. I could go rephrase that, and it's going to give me some different ways of saying this. I could kind of try that again. Again, it's kind of expanding on that sentence and rephrasing it in a better way. I could also like make it more creative. And so if you're like, oh, this is kind of a boring sentence, I could like make more creative. We're also adding in a tool that will rewrite it like for a fifth grader. So it kind of basically simplifies all of your writing. We found that like the highest conversions and the easiest reading comes at like an elementary school level. And so you'll be able to highlight stuff and then just click, rewrite it for a fifth grader. And it'll just kind of rewrite it in a much simpler way, which is a really, really cool functionality that the tool can do. And so, so basically you're just kind of doing what you'd be doing before, but now you've got, you got this compose button that can just start to generate content based on what you're seeing over here. Then obviously you come back in and you add, gaining muscle, and you start to kind of add some of these keywords over here. But in this case, we won't need a 4,500 keyword or 4,500 word article. This could definitely get us there in probably 15 minutes. I could probably get a 4,000 word article out of this thing.
No way. You have to make a contest. That would be awesome. Like live contest, who can produce more words with Jarvis in the like 10 minutes. That would be
I
insane.
was thinking about that. We have like a contest and just like the world record, who can get, maybe an article over 70 in the quickest amount of time. And,
Oh,
whoever the winner
nice.
is gets something. That'd be pretty
Oh yeah,
cool.
I'm contributing.
Yeah.
Definitely. So guys, just so you remember, it's like our editor, but with this compose button, and you can write by hand. Don't forget about it, because the better input you will provide, the more like guidance you will set here at the beginning and during writing, the better output and the more accurate it will be at the end. So if you can, for example, write one paragraph and then compose the next one, and then write paragraph and then compose the next one, you cut the time in half, so you can create the article much quicker, and it will still be like yours. That's what I suppose it will do, or like at least almost like yours. 80-20 rule, guys, here can be applied like really to the bone.
Yeah. And like, this, you can also use this power editor. So let's say I want to get this word protein intake. I might come over here to like this content improver, and let's try this. The importance of protein intake in building muscle. Okay, so I write that. It's going to kind of expand on this idea a little bit and improve that. And we might get, some longer form
In the
content that I could put
meantime,
over
I
here.
have a question, Dave. You mentioned about those headings and styling,
Yep.
and did we hear you right that you are going to add styles?
Yep. Yeah. We're adding styles probably Monday or Tuesday. We'll have
Okay,
styling, because
thank
right
you.
now you can see here, like what I was trying to get is the word protein intake. And, now let's see, I've got it in here somewhere, protein intake. I guess the capitalize doesn't count. But yeah, we got protein intake in there just by using one of the other tools. And so you have all these tools at your disposal to help generate content that will match up with these keywords over here. But yeah, right now, like we don't have, styling to add H2s and stuff. And so, this stuff is not going to work until early next week. But you can just make sure that you write that in these headings right here.
Yeah, absolutely. That's just a tiny thing comparing to all of the stuff that can be done within the long form creator. I would just like to ask whether you have like something besides of the long form creator that can be helpful with SEO. What about these titles? Could
Yeah. I
you go back
mean,
to it a little bit?
if I kind of go back into the power mode here, I could
Mm-hmm.
take my, title. We do some other SEO stuff here, like, blog post, title, and meta description. So here, let's say it's, Muscle Academy. blog post title. We've kind of trained it based off of what's really ranking. And I know there's a lot of thoughts and arguments around like what is the best SEO, and we've kind of, instead of just taking all of that, we said, well, let's just Google some really competitive keywords and let's just take the ones that are actually ranking there, as a starting point. And so, here I could put in,
it,
blog
it
post
feels
description.
like it feels like we have a lot of data in the database to feed your algorithms. Really,
Yeah,
like
totally. So, a lot of this is, I think going over to Surfer and grabbing stuff, but here it's going to give, a title, and meta description. And
awesome.
again, I think you could compare this with the data you're getting, in Surfer. The internet is full of advice about how to build muscle, but most of it's junk. And this blog post will give you 10 strategies for building muscle, whether you're a beginner. I mean, this is really good stuff. And this
Yeah.
is, I think, a very common format for like a blog post there. But you also have, stuff for your homepage, your SEO stuff for your, product pages, service pages, whatever. So yeah, you'd have to kind of, I think, play with a lot of these like short form. These are kind of our short form templates, but let's say you didn't love one of these. Well, it's like, rephrase this. The internet's full of advice about building muscle. There's a lot of advice about how to build muscle, but most people's tips may not be helpful. Yeah, it's a little bit like softer version instead of calling it junk. It's like, great, well, let's go ahead and do that, and now I've got maybe a little softer version of that in here. So that's kind of the flow. Is you're going to spend most of your time in here grabbing stuff out of the short form, hitting the compose button, tweaking it, changing it up, to make it your style and your tone. But what's cool is Jarvis reads your article and it adjusts the tone based on what you've already written. And so, it'll kind of automatically pick up how you're writing something, and not just, kind of be a default AI tone or something like that.
This is cool. We can wrap it up to like leave some cool golden nuggets for the training. Yet people are already raving on the chat. I saw comments that they feel like they don't want anybody else to know that tool, which is actually the great sign
That's kind of the
of
common response. It's like, I love this. I don't want to tell anybody else about it. And I'm with you. Like, there's definitely an advantage to getting in early, and that, there's going to be a lot more content produced in the next few years. I think we'll see a big uptick there. I think it'll be harder to rank, a few years from now than it is now. And just because there's going to be more competition, not because, I mean, Google doesn't know. It's not like Google like knows this is AI written or whatever. I mean, it's like, this is just actual good, high quality content, but there'll be more competition. And so I think getting in early before everybody else knows is definitely a huge advantage.
yeah, it will be just easier to produce a lot of content, and the more content is produced, the harder it is to stand out. So
Yep.
definitely, um, I would like to ask you, for people who want to subscribe to Conversion AI, there is this Surfer link, and what they can get in there, like extra. I feel like that was 30 days money back guarantee for
Yeah,
them.
for Surfer customers, try it out. We've got a trial. You can sign up where you can just, pay outright, but we're giving a 30-day money back guarantee. So try it out for 30 days. I mean, if it doesn't work for you, I don't want your money. Most people go bananas, and you probably get an ROI in about 1 hour of using it.
Yeah.
But yeah, try it out. No risk. I mean, we want to take care of Surfer customers and make sure you guys are part of our family now too. And so absolutely no risk. Try it out and let us know what you think. And if you want your money back, happy to do that.
Yeah, that's really a great deal, because like a lot of people are afraid of trying new tools, but for what we saw today, plus like the tool being really legitimate and really trusted, like all over the internet, is full of Conversion AI, and you stand out from like the other tools that are providing some sort of uh, guidance with AI on content writing topic, then definitely, guys, don't be afraid, and you can try it out. And I'm pretty sure if you don't like it, but you'll like it. I mean, I was doing SEO. I mean, I still do some SEO, but it's not like the client SEO or affiliate SEO anymore. But if I had this, I could probably do a bit more within the 24 hours of a day.
Oh yeah.
So
It's always the SEO people that sign up and then like lose sleep all week. And then they come back a week later and they're like, I haven't slept, but I've gotten more work done in the last week than I had in like the last year.
Oh
And
wow.
it's like the SEO people that go nuts with this. And so yeah, if you're it's a perfect integration. If you're using Surf and you're trying to rank, like this is a no brainer. And I think one question people ask is like, well, what niches can it write about? Obviously I'm kind of writing about gaining muscle. I'm a pretty skinny guy, so I don't know anything about gaining muscle or care that much to write about it. But like it can write about any topic, almost any topic, right? It's basically trained on a huge chunk of the internet. So if it's been like widely written about on the internet, it can write about it. And you can see I've got, articles on tap dancing, articles on writing in AI, articles on losing weight, articles on writing a nonfiction book, articles on copywriting, articles on selling your home, articles on, whatever, preparing
Every
your home for
niche.
new roofs. So yeah, so if you're kind of thinking, well, can it work for me? It likely can write very well for your niche. It'd have to be very obscure for Jarvis to not be able to write well about it.
Awesome, awesome. Just to clarify, folks, this long form editor will be available in the unlimited package. Am I right, Dave? So
Yep.
anyone don't get just confused.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah. So all of this and this like this the integration, all that, it's under $99. It's basically $99 a month. You get all of this and unlimited words that you can write per month for $99. So pretty dang good deal. That price does go up May 1st. We haven't fully decided exactly what the new pricing is going to be, but that price will go up on May 1st. And so you've got another week from today to get that. But yeah, try that out and you'll be locked in. Your price won't go up on May 1st if you already have an account.
awesome, awesome. Another lever. Damn. Yeah, guys. So I feel like I will jump with the screen share to explain the server thing
Yeah.
for all of the conversion AI users. Uh, and we will start with ideation because I have a bunch of tools within Surfer, but this one is the most complementary tool I can find. So if you can create more content in the same period of time, then you have to find out what else should I be writing about if I want to build expertise in specific niche. I will just maybe zoom in a little bit so we can see it better. But in general, I generated it like a couple of minutes ago, and that was a keyword mattresses review. So if your website is about reviewing mattresses, you will be required to write about 300 articles, different articles about specific mattresses, type of sleeping disorders, and like side sleepers, mattresses for them, for like quite a lot of brands to review and quite a lot of disorders to help with your content. So each of these styles is a separate article and you can transform it into content editor with just a single click here, create content editor, and you'll be able, surprise surprise, find this content editor in the interface of conversion AI and ask Jarvis to help you make it happen. So this is extremely cool because you can literally ideate and then execute with the superpower of Jarvis, and then do the next one, the next one, the next one. And with this thing in place, you can create uh, quite authoritative website with 100 articles in a feasible amount of time, even on your own or with a bunch of people helping you. If we compare this time, uh, resources, amount of resources, the traditional way, it will be like, okay, I will better rather give up on this because it's impossible to create without writer's block, which is definitely something like writing another article about mattresses review. That the difference is that we are now reviewing junior mattresses, not nova form mattresses. It can like drive you nuts, and with the tool you will be able just jump on the topic over and over again without like killing yourself. So that's a huge benefit. And of course, Dave, you reviewed the tool, the Surfer tool, pretty well in the interface of Conversion AI, because it has the same interface in Surfer, but without, of course, without the AI writing assistant. So you get all of the keywords, all of the entities and structure of the article and so on inside the tool, gathered for you from like top ranking pages. And this is something I will probably stop for a moment, so just so you know, where do these guidelines come from? They come from the top ranking pages in general. So we ask Google algorithm what is the best answer for a particular query. In this case, it is a mix of queries about original mattress factory reviews. And we ask Google, hey Google, what can you give me? What kind of answer you can propose me for this keyword? And they do their best. They do their best at Google to provide the best answer. And then those top 10 results are analyzed by the Surfer algorithms, Surfer NLP engine, and Google NLP engine, and bunch of other algorithms that I just skip mentioning. But in the end, you get the best benchmarks that will help you find out what is the core of the article. Should I write about box springs, about like mattresses reviews, about classic plush, about orthopedic mattresses, ultra firm something? Okay, what is this ultra firm? I can click on it and get examples of using of these keywords.
Those are pulled in from the top results.
Yes, these come from the competitors that we use to benchmark these guidelines. So it is actually a real part of their content.
And for like Serenity Latex as 2 to 4, is it saying that excuse me, that word is used 2 to 4 times on
Yeah,
average, or that
yeah,
like it's used a little less than that?
it tells you how many times you should have it based on their usage. So we aim for like 46 to 5200 words long article, and with that threshold you can use mattresses factory review between like 2 and 8 times. You can try to aim for the middle, you can try to aim for the minimum if you want to be like extra safe on over optimization, yet you are safe even with the maximum, because like when the page is ranking in the top 10 and hits the maximum, then well, it means it's safe because it's
Yep.
not penalized, still ranking top 10. So in general, these words and phrases are core entities, core topics, core elements of making the answer comprehensive. So you have to touch most of these topics, or at least use them once, like the foam layers, like if you purchased a mattresses, and do what about what after the purchase. So you can find out like, okay, it's a review, like I purchased a mattress, blah blah blah. So it shows you that you have to use this like real review angle within it, like the testimonial or something like that, to make it probably more reliable in not only Google's but also like readers' eyes, as Google is incorporating those behavioral signals. So the pages that rank in the top 10 not only satisfy Google, but they also have to satisfy the users. Otherwise, they will lose rankings relatively quick. So it's like a combination of all. And we are actually using Google to tell us what is the best um, like input for the article. And I really like this feature in Conversion AI, that they can just at least try to incorporate some of these keywords, and I bet we can move it forward in the future so it can actually pull those keywords somehow and maybe fetch and maybe try to group them and
Mm-hmm.
incorporate in specific paragraphs. This is like so big field of potential uses of that, that I'm sometimes I'm afraid, even with the potential of that stuff. So that's the content editor. Before I showed you the content planner, so you can ideate, you can execute, you can share it with the writers, like integrate with WordPress, integrate with Google Docs, all kind of stuff. And besides of that, server has a lot of other features that are like more for like SEO people, let's say. So I won't show them in here, but you can review some correlations. You can do a bit more in-depth audits. But for you guys, content creation and ideation is something that I want you to remember from this really short presentation. I will of course go through more in a more in-depth way with the training, but at this point it's enough for you to remember that you can ideate and execute in a data-driven mode with Surfer, and you can boost your process with Jarvis, so it will be just faster and more efficient, and you can spend that time on writing another article or enjoying your afternoon with your family. So that's what you can buy yourself with that combination. And we have a pretty decent deal for the Conversion AI users. There will be the link somewhere that will turn on a special package for the new users that will include NLP credits and extend the trial to 30 days. So you actually don't have to like pay $1 for 1 week. It will be $1 for 30 days and NLP included. So yeah, definitely go check it out. I would love, Tom, if you could share both URLs so people can benefit with those special offers if they really want to try it out at this point. So that's most likely it from the application. Let me find the cursor so I can kill the screen sharing. Um, I spent a few moments on figuring out potential applications of this integration, and we covered writing a single article that is perfectly optimized and created in a reasonable amount of time. But I would like to ask you, Dave, about rewriting content or like expanding content, because pretty often you end up after creating an audit that Surfer will tell you you need 1,000 words more,
Mm.
and I already have a lot. I already have 2,000. I need 1,000 more, so I have like massive input. And what can you offer for these guys, how they can expand these articles so actually they don't have to write them?
Yeah, totally. I mean, we do have a feature, called the sentence expander that will basically take any sentence and, make it longer. So you could basically just run through and run that on every sentence. And obviously you just want to make sure that it like works well and the flow is there. But, it probably makes any sentence, 30% longer. So if you ran that through your whole
Nice.
thing, that'd be pretty sweet. We've also got some other templates, that like make stuff more creative, and that's usually like longer. And so you could do that and like expand on that. So yeah, as far as just like making stuff longer while keeping the meaning, that's pretty easy. You could run through a whole article and just highlight, run, highlight, run, highlight, run, and kind of beef up your article. Like like high school Dave is wishing I had that. You've got like the minimum word count. And
Oh
so
yeah.
I'm like messing with the margins and I'm messing, I'm trying to make it 2 pages. Like I wish I just had this to just highlight, highlight, hit that word count there. But yeah, we've definitely got tools that can like take that and make stuff longer.
Yeah, and I'm really like against this, but this question will definitely pop up. What about rewriting the content? I don't need to like add more. I would like to make it unique. Okay, well, I had to ask. Someone will
Yeah. No, I mean,
ask.
I think people buy, I mean, I don't fully know this world, but like people buy these like PLR articles and you buy some other article that's like already been written, somebody sells you, but you kind of want to tweak it and make it your own. And what about duplicate content? That's easy to do. A lot of people are using it for that. Where you kind of pop some content in there, rewrite it, make it your own. And that's what a lot of writing is anyway. You're kind of finding examples out there and then, writing it to make it your own. This just helps you do it a little bit more
Is it
sophisticated
bottomless?
way.
Is it
What?
bottomless? I mean, this case, like how many times we can, make the article unique?
Yeah, 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 totally. No, I'm sure, a ton. And also like everything, I'd
I'm
say
scared. Now
I'd
I'm
say
scared.
99.999% of the time it passes copyscapes, plagiarism. And in the times that it doesn't, it's usually like some benign sentence that like gets flagged where it's like the key to building muscle is, and it's like, oh, that was found somewhere else. So it's like, well, it's not really saying anything. Like that sentence is probably found in a million articles online, so usually it's like stuff like that. But the way like the AI works is it's not just lifting sentences off of competitor sites. It's reading all of them, it's assimilating that information to kind of get the gist of what they're saying, and then as you're writing, it's basically it's looking at what you've read and then trying to figure out what's the next best word to add to this sentence. And then looking at that, what's the next best word? And so it's really doing it one word at a time. It's never copy and pasting like full sentences or anything like that. And so we've had, basically zero, flags around plagiarism.
I'm scared. I'm scared, and I'm sure like a lot of people will like it. They were doing like copying the Swedish content and using Google Translator and
Oh, yeah,
putting it
yeah.
into the English to make it like some sort of uh, not so stolen content, let's say.
That's funny.
But in this case, if they can, for example, take and I can't believe I'm saying this, but if someone can take an article and put it in the log form assistant, rewrite, and then optimize using the Surfer's add-on, well, I'm
Right. It's
scared.
like make it your own, make it your own. You're gonna have to put a little elbow grease into it, be the editor, make it all fit. But yeah, that's a great use case for it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, this is scary. This is scary. Let's move to the questions because I have a few questions prepared, but for sure Tom listed some more. And I wanted to ask you about languages covered. I saw there is just slightly more languages than just the English. Is that correct?
Yeah. So right now we've got about 11 languages that are supported in kind of varying degrees. And we can share that, there's a Notion doc that we have that has like, all those different languages there. Some of them aren't as good as we'd like. And, it kind of depends on like what you're looking for. Next month, we're going to be integrated with another API that's going to translate really, really well. And so if we don't really support your language that well right now, or you try it and maybe Italian's not as good as you were hoping, all of that should be super, super high quality next month.
Nice. I was already asked for Hungarian. Pretty
Yeah.
niche, but yeah, still Polish is there. I'm surprised because it is one of the hardest languages to master.
Yeah.
Uh, of course, it's not like extremely great like the English one, but I believe it will get better and better. So maybe we can tackle even the Polish market. That will be
Yep.
insane.
Yeah, yeah. I
Um,
think by the end of next month, this thing will
nice.
be like fluent
Ah,
in a lot more languages.
yeah, so we can nail the Polish market for sure.
Yep.
Right, that was great. I really enjoy like observing your marketing activity with like literally anything you do seems to be super cool. And I would like to ask you for one tip for the audience regarding the content marketing. What would be your advice if they want to promote a product?
Oh, just like overall promotion.
Yeah, let's say one golden nugget.
I mean, this lines up with ranking on Google, but I think it's just a good thing to remember everywhere is like the quality of your product dramatically impacts how easy it is to grow and promote and all of that. And so, like, on an article level, yes, like just good articles are going to rank. And if you have a great article, the backlinks will flow in and like everything else will be easier. You'll rank higher. But I think with Conversion AI, it's just actually a great product and it actually really works well. And so, I'm probably doing less marketing than I've ever done before. Like we've marketed other products way harder in terms of like running a lot of ads and optimizing our funnels, a lot of A/B testing and great copyright and all that stuff. Like I'm probably doing less of that stuff now, and I'm more just having a lot of fun in our Facebook group and building products that people want. And like that's kind of become our marketing. And I've got more people messaging me like, Dave, you're such a good marketer or whatever. It's like, man, I swear, like I've done better marketing in my life. You know, mostly we've just been thinking about how to build product right now. And that seems to be working really well too. So I just might kind of encourage like whatever you're in, make the product or the service or the offering really good. And it makes everything else 10 times easier.
Awesome. Product led growth, the way to go. The way to go, definitely.
I really, really think it
Uh,
is. Yeah.
So, before we move to the questions from the audience, I would like to ask you guys to hit the like button and maybe share and subscribe if you are watching on YouTube. That would be awesome. And yeah, the first question. Are you ready, Dave?
Yep.
This is tough, but it basically boils down into the question like, are you able to make Jarvis fulfilling all of the guidelines from Surfer?
Someday we will be able to. That's kind of my dream, that we could just kind of import, all of the keywords and with different weights to them and all of that, at once. We've only been integrated for 48 hours here, so
Yeah.
we're early on here, but yeah, that's definitely the goal, is that just make it easier and easier to write without having to do all that stuff.
I can definitely confirm that. And you mentioned those weights. We already have them. And yeah, it's just a matter of having another call, I think. And in a couple of some time frames, like months, maybe quarters,
Hmm.
we will be able to nail down more and more uh, cool things for you to make your life easier. Uh, any plans to incorporate server suggestions for meta title and description based on who is ranking the top 10? We are not sending the data to Conversion AI at this point, but maybe we could.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd say like any questions around like, can you do this? Can you do that? Like, it's just kind of, if people want it, we'll do it. It's kind of been our philosophy. It's like if enough people want it, we'll definitely make it happen. And obviously there's some technical, challenges around some of that stuff. But yeah, I think, as long as you guys are liking this integration, we're definitely down to keep getting it tighter and tighter.
Awesome, awesome. The next one was about the languages we covered, and another one about the keywords to include. We already covered two, but the next one is pretty cool. It asks for the SOP so the person can send it to the assistant. So, of course, when is the training coming? When are we doing it?
Yeah, so we'll probably release a training, with us again this next week. But if you go into conversion.ai/academy, we've got some like full, 45-minute long, hour-long trainings around how to do this already. That you'll be able to see all of our trainings in there. And in our help center, we've got more and more kind of SOPs coming out. But yeah, we'll put together one with Surfer specifically here this next week.
Awesome, 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 awesome. A lot of like chat is raving really. I can't keep up, so I will stick to the Google Docs Tom prepared to me. For those with teams in Jarvis, do they need a surferseo.com account for each team member? No, I will answer. Surfer allows you to log in as many times on as many machines as you want to. We do not plan to block it. That was really annoying thing, like seats limitation. In my opinion, so we are just not doing it. So yeah, you can have one and use it, use it, use
Yeah,
it,
you can
use it.
use it across all seats in Conversion AI.
Oh, yes. So, what additional features come with Surfer? Like I said, besides of the ideation and execution with the content editor, there comes the audit feature. That is a quick snapshot that will tell you which words, phrases you are missing, if you are not too long, too short, what's your structure against the competitor. So you can literally create this in 30 seconds. and get the information about what's wrong with the page. And then you also have the feature that provides you in-depth data analysis with the charts and correlations, and where you can find out if you are an outlier in specific ranking factor measured, and it is like 500 ranking factors, so it's more likely for SEO geeks than for the beginners. Beginners should stick to the audit and the editor and the content planner. And last but not least is the content planner for the domain, which allows you to connect Google Search Console with Surfer. Surfer will pull your top performing pages and tell you which are the low hanging fruits, meaning striking distance and not so well optimized content, so you can just tackle them right away. And it boils down to a list of what should I do next with my project. So that's Surfer in a nutshell. And
Hey,
the
quick
last,
question. Well,
Mhm, go ahead.
one question I've had people asking is like, I've already got Ahrefs or SEMrush or some of those tools. Do you guys like replace those, or do
No,
you
no, no,
just are
no.
you a complement to those?
Yeah, these are complementary tools. Ahrefs is focused on the off-page SEO and keyword research, but in a
Hmm.
different way. They find a content gap, they find backlinks and some traffic. This is not something we are doing. We focus on data-driven content optimization and creation. So with Ahrefs, you can take care of the off-page side, uh, and traffic and analysis of your competitor pages in terms of how good they are. But if you want to stick to on-page optimization and content creation, then Surfer comes really handy. LCM Rush slightly overlaps with our features. They have some sort of writing assistance, but this is not data driven. Like, even in a like 1% is not data driven. So yeah, the only
Okay,
common feature is like they both integrate with Google Docs, and that's it. So
got it.
yeah, it's all like you should have it all. Like, I mean, you don't have to have both SEMrush and Ahref, but if you have both, get rid of one and buy Server. That's the way to go. And the question about the affiliate program. So for Surfer, it is 25% recurring commission if anyone wants to join and co-promote Conversion AI and Surfer. And for Conversion AI, Dave, if you could help me
Yeah,
with this one.
for people that can drive traffic and can drive sales, we do 30% recurring commissions for life.
That's awesome. Yeah, that was the last question actually. The chat is really, yeah, the chat rate is 4. I don't know what does it mean, but for me it's like a lot of messages coming and I really cannot focus on them. So sorry guys if there's anything that we missed. Where people can find you, Dave, really? I believe it's the group.
Pretty much the only place I live now is inside of our Facebook group. So if you want to chat, I'm pretty active in there and we have a lot of fun, and it's kind of just my crew now. So yeah, you can go search for the conversion.ai official Facebook community and join that. Um, that's where you'll find me.
Awesome, awesome. And for me, it's the same situation, really. It's SEO Surfers Group. You can find me there and you can ask anything, and we are happy to help. There's a lot of people in the community who are helpful and really, helping each other. So, yeah, that's it. We are live for almost 1 hour already. I feel like everyone is satisfied with the content. I really enjoyed your presentation with the conversion AI. That was like eye opening for me as an SEO, former SEO. That would help a lot. So yeah, and the final words.
No, I mean this is exciting. So yeah, if you are writing articles, I cannot see why you would not use these two tools combined. This is really the future, and I think you could be one of the early people onto it and reap the most rewards from it.
Okay, so thanks everyone for joining us today. That was really a great pleasure for us to be here with you, answer all of your questions. And like Dave said, you can find us on the groups on Facebook. So let's meet there and have a great day, everyone. And of course, a great weekend. Bye bye.
Jarvis is
Cheers.
by as
Say
well.
bye to Jarvis.